Hey folks, how you doing? Papa Joe here. Let me send a quick message here. Sorry about that. I'll try and get hold of Carlos. We talked for a couple minutes earlier, and evidently his phone died or something. I'm telling him I'm starting this video and to call any time. Alright, there we go. That's sent to him. Now let me get over here to the subject of the video. I did my, right here it is, did my video this morning on that little mom and pops I was at, decent little place, and got a couple comments. And this one we exchanged a couple comments, and I told him I'd be making a video about it. Here's your video, bro. He said, kind of hard for a Samoan to go to mom and pops. A lot of racism out there, even for an islander, which is sad in 2018. True words. I told him, I said, you're listening to the wrong folks. I've only seen it on TV, not in the real world. I see all nationalities and religions at truck stops across America. He commented back, he says, I'm speaking from experiencing it myself. I go coast to coast, and the farther east I go, the more my kind isn't liked. I was just at an off-network truck stop in Nebraska a few weeks ago and got the worst customer service I ever had in my life. And it puzzles me because I'm a very nice and humble person, and it's just experiences like these that make me regret being a trucker 3 years later. Now look, folks, I'm not naive, where I'm going to sit here and tell you that there's not any racism in the world, because we all know I'd be lying. As there is. Now the thing is, with the way modern society, or part of modern society, they pray and play off of the race card. We all know that. That's a fact. Might as well give the disclaimer now. This is going to be a no sugar added video. So, you know, put your big boy panties on, all of you, and don't get offended. It's the truth as I see it through my eyes. Okay? Of course, there's going to be different ones that see it a different way. Guess why? Because you're not the white guy, and you're not my age, and you're not in the circles that I'm in. Every one of us travel in our own little world, and every one of us have different experiences. I am not going to sit here for a minute and tell that man that he has not experienced racism. I'm sure he has. However, with the society having everybody on guard and watching for that racism, sometimes, let me say that it is misunderstood. Sometimes it's really not racism that you're experiencing. Sometimes it's just the area that you're in. The East Coast, I've got some subscribers from over there. Ain't trying to offend them either, and I don't care what race or gender they are. The East Coast is known for being rude. Period. They don't think they're being rude, and I've said it in other videos. Where I'm from, if you're yelling and cussing at somebody, that's not good. Over there, they don't think nothing about it. I have traveled over there enough to know that their sense of humor is different than mine. Thus, mine's different from theirs. They probably raise an eyebrow at some of my humor. Now, my dad's passed away. Him and I went down a rough pipe. Supposed to inhale it, not swallow it. Him and I had discussions back when he was still trucking. So I guess that goes back 10 plus years ago. Damn near 15 years ago. And, well, I guess it was 10 more or less, because he was hauling campers, and he retired out of a big truck, and he bought him a 1-ton pickup, and he started hauling campers. And for him, that was great, because he'd take the campers out northwest most of the time, northeast sometimes, and he would deliver them, and then he would drive back in his pickup, and he'd get to go to all them national parks and stuff that we get to drive by that says no trucks. But him and I got talking. I was running boats into Canada at the time, and he asked me what route I ran. So I was telling him I'd run 24 over to 64, over to 70 to 29 to 80, and then zigzag up on through there. And I think it was 25 I actually crossed over on. But he told me that where he was hauling out of Indiana, that sometimes he'd take 94 because that was his best route, but he had decided that he would run 90. And he ran 90 most of the time, because it just that little bit of difference, and there ain't a whole lot of miles between 90 and 94 on cutting across the top. He said the folks was just friendlier down on 90. And he got the feeling up there on 94 that he was an inconvenience to him. I had to agree with him to a degree, but I allow, which is what I'll tell you, number one is you just hit some places that's got lousy service, period. You hit some of these truck stops, fuel stops, and it's more the younger generation than the old. However, some of the old too. People just act like they're mad because they got a job. I don't understand it. Why'd you get the job? Or if you don't like it, go quit. Go get another one, whatever. Which I say that, but you've seen me mad at my job, and I keep it. All right, let's talk about Michael. Michael has recently made a request with the company to try to keep him more south of I-40. To him, down south of I-40, the folks are friendlier than north of I-40. And that's just a line, okay? But he's mostly lived north. North California all the way to Pennsylvania. He's always lived north of 40. And he never really noticed it until he started driving a truck. And he started coming down my way, south. And he has just decided that folks are a lot friendlier and easier to get along with south of I-40, the Southerners. You go out there to Oregon and Washington, there are a bunch of liberals out there that are supposed to just be all full of love and caring, and look how they're driving, and And half of them out there, when you're dealing with them, they act like you're an inconvenience and they don't even want you in there. So as I'm saying, sometimes what folks take as racism isn't really racism. It's just poor service, people with attitudes. You know, you got to watch for that stuff. I happen to be one. If I'm getting too bad of an attitude from somebody, I give them an attitude check. Y'all remember that from back in the day? I still practice it. Remember that old saying, they need an attitude check, an attitude adjustment? And that don't mean you got to knock them out and all that shit. You know, sometimes just a few words can straighten them up, at least while you're dealing with them. So, but I'm not going to say that there's not racism out there. We've all dealt with it. Racism is nothing but part of humankind, of mankind. Every race has a little bit of it in some form or fashion. Is it prejudice, racist? That's a fine line, you know. I've dealt with it. I was talking to another subscriber here a little while back. I'm not going to name his name. And he was telling me he was down south. We're supposed to be friendlier. He's a white guy. Late 30s, early 40s, more or less. Hot summertime. He backs into this place to get loaded. It's all blacks that are working there. They tell him, you know, back up, chalk your tires, come inside, give us your key, and you have to sit in this little hot box over here. No air conditioner, no fan, but you got to stay in this little box. I've been to them places. They suck. He said he had been in there probably 15, 20 minutes, and they still hadn't started loading him. He could look out the window to see. And a black guy backs in. He doesn't chalk his tires. He don't turn his truck off. He don't give him his keys. He don't even get out of his truck. He sits in his truck and naps. He was very offended. He was very mad, actually. Now, is that racism? Don't know. Maybe that guy was a local and they knew and trusted him. Don't know. But things like that can happen where it really makes you raise the eyebrow and makes you wonder. I know that in today's society, like it or not, us middle-aged white guys are supposed to be the ones to blame for everything, and it's supposed to be okay to be racist against us. It's supposed to be okay to be, I hate to say mean, but I'm searching for a word here, but it's like, wait a damn minute. What'd I do to you? I'm just out here working for a living like you are. You know? Don't blow off the mom and pops because you've had a bad experience or two. I've been into the major brand. You said that it was an off-brand place or whatever you said. I've been to Flying J's, Pilots, Loves, TAs, and I've gotten shoddy service. Sometimes, and that's something else, you know, shoddy waitresses. We've been talking about for years now, how the waitresses have gone downhill. You don't get to service nothing like you used to. Nothing. Boy, that feels like it's blowing cold back there. I don't want it blowing cold. Let me check this right quick. Yeah, that's blowing cold. Put that bad boy over to heat. I had it on auto where it's supposed to go between heater or AC as it needs in here. That ain't been working. But yes, we have noticed that the quality of service that we get anymore ain't nothing like it used to be. And that ain't just in the trucking industry. How many times do you go to a gas station or a Burger King or anything else that's out there in the real world, and you've got somebody behind the counter that acts like they're mad because they got a job. They're mad because they had to come in. They're ready to go home, so they're disgruntled, and they want to try to take it out on the customers. I don't tolerate that, folks. I don't do it. If I'm buying your services or your product, and that means I am making your paycheck, you're going to show me at least courtesy. If not respect, at least courtesy. You know? So, and I understand. I used to know a couple of Samoans when I was in the military, when I was in the Marine Corps. And the one, he was a big old boy. Damn, and I don't mean fat. He was just big and tall and big old boy. Gentle giant, unless he got drinking. Give you the shirt off of his back type deal. And he's had his issues. You know, we all do. I can't read it. Message from Jim Dunn there. Yeah, there's some of the racists out here. There's prejudices out here. I can't help but think, because, you know, I know somebody's going to get on here and say, but you're a white guy. You don't know about racism. Well, sure I do. I'm not blind. I'm not deaf. And I'm not stupid. My eyes are wide open out here in this world. Sure I know about it. Sure I've experienced it. You know? Don't let society in today's world have you carrying your feelings on your sleeve, folks. Don't automatically assume that it's racism. Stop and think about what's going on around you in that situation, and better yet, see if you can correct it. You know, back in the day, if we had a bad waitress, we left them a penny. Now, they still got a tip, but they got a penny. And waitresses knew that if they got a penny, that meant that they did a bad job. That customer wasn't happy with them. So maybe if you're getting shoddy service, lay a penny up there on the table. If that don't seem to do any good, maybe ask them, do you know what the penny's about? Back in the day, if you got bad service, you got a penny. Now, do you want a penny or do you want a couple bucks? If you want a couple bucks, you got to work better than what you are for me. I'm like that. I'll go ahead and spell it out. I can picture you being a lot like Tino was. And big old quiet feller, you know. And you would have had to really got that man mad to get him to say what I was just saying. You know, he would have just took the shoddy service and went on about it. I'm not like that. I can't do that. And I would suggest that you figure out ways for you. You know your own personality if you're getting that kind of service to correct them. I have literally, which has blown Grandma's mind because she's been there, I have literally had people giving me attitude at the checkout and corrected them and said, hey, remember those saying? What's that? Customer's always right. And this customer's telling you, you need to change your attitude. You don't need to talk to me like that. You know, I have literally stepped up when I've heard them giving the person in front of me, or a couple of them up, mouth and attitude. I'm like that. I can't help it. The only way that we are going to fix some of these problems out here is to address them. And that don't mean you have to be stupid. You don't have to be violent. You ain't got to get loud and rowdy. But the only way to fix it is to address it. I think there's some of them, like old boy I had issues with on the East Coast. He didn't even realize that his yelling and cussing at me was getting me fired up. He did after a few minutes, but we had words, and I explained to him that, no, where I come from, this don't work. Your means of communication here, and I mean, people was coming out of the office. We both was getting loud. And I told him he'd need to work on his communication skills. That might work with the good old boys in the back. That don't work out here with me. I can't help it. I don't tolerate it. Well, I will for a small degree, but it's real easy to push that button on me when it comes to rudeness. It's real easy to push that button when it comes to shoddy service. So yeah, my brother, I'm sure you have experienced racism. We all have. I'm more convinced that you've just been a victim of shoddy service and rude people. And if you will watch, since I've made this video and brought your attention to it, if you'll kind of stand back and watch and listen, you'll hear that them same people that you thought was being racist against you, they treat everybody like that. Everybody. These truck stops, they don't care what race, gender, religion, or anything else you are. All they care about is, give me that money. You got money, we want that money. That's the only thing that motivates any of them. And I don't care if it's a restaurant or the manager of the joint. You know, so. Well, that's my go on it. I'm sure there'll be some to comment and disagree, so be it. It is what it is, right? But give some of the mom and pops a go. Try to come a little farther south, brother. Come a little bit farther south. You might find out we're a different breed of folks. And that's something else that you really got to watch. And I'm asking you to watch it. As you're in these different regions, watch how the locals are. Not the truck drivers. Watch how the locals are. And if you've experienced racism from truck drivers, which if you've got that CB on, I know you've heard it. Turn the damn thing off. That's why I turned mine off. I only turn mine on for emergencies anymore. I don't want to hear it. It ain't nothing but hate, cussing, fighting, nonsense, and none of them really know what they're talking about, and I don't want to hear it. So, once again, that's all I got to say about that. Y'all remember, God loves you, and so do I. A whole bunch of other folks out here love you too. There's some of them, they don't even know they love you. They don't even know they're being rude. Don't give it up so easy. Stay out here a while and start watching on what I'm talking about. And then you give me some feedback. All right, folks. He loves you. I love you. Have a good day. I'll see you on live stream here in a little bit. Bye now.